Yesterday game was horrendous, bro. I mean, it was bad. I mean, this one might be one for the ages, bro. I can't even lie. The referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the calls was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. I mean, they got their issue off in a major way, bro. I mean, there was countless of times I could literally look at the screen and know that was a foul.
What if I told you the real MVP of the WNBA isn't a player, but a referee with a personal grudge and a whistle hotter than a jalapeno? Buckle up, because the footage we just uncovered makes reality TV look like Sunday Mass. Caitlin Clark didn't just get fouled. She got robbed, and the evidence is messier than a toddler on spaghetti night. You won't believe what this ref did. And yes, it's all caught on camera.
So lads, today the referees gave the report on the situation, and it's even worse. It's even worse than I imagined, and it was pretty grim. Like, it was a pretty grim overall, it was a pretty grim overall.
Watching the WNBA and seeing how things are run, seeing how things are done, and after you've seen what it looks like to get it right, and you come in and see something looking really wrong, you're going to call it out. It is what it is. You're going to be critical of players. If they do something shady or classless, you're going to call that out.
And once again, the whistle shrieks. Not for a foul, not for a travel, but apparently for daring to exist as Caitlin Clark. Let's face it, this isn't basketball anymore. It's a poorly written drama where the refs double as over-the-top villains. Between the invisible fouls, missed hits, and whoops, guess I didn't catch that elbow. The WNBA officials have gone from game regulators to unruly agents of mayhem with whistles in hand.
I wanted to share with you guys an article that I found that honestly gives us so much insight into the WNBA referees, how they are hired, how much they make, and there's one section that really stood out to me, and they break down essentially why they are making the calls that they make, and they also talk about the influx of new fans flooding to the WNBA. They talk about Caitlin Clark a little bit. This article to me was really telling. It actually came out in January, but it was published by SB Nation, and it's entitled How WNBA Referees Are Scouted, Trained, and Held Accountable.
The crowd isn't puzzled anymore. They're drained. This isn't drama. It's a slow-motion takedown. Shady officiating isn't just spoiling games. It's bleeding the excitement out of a league that should be gaining momentum. Fans show up for real competition, not some referee-led circus. It's like watching a baking show where the judges cut the power mid-bake and then blame the chef for the disaster. And Caitlin Clark? She's the chef, smiling through clenched teeth as her dream dessert melts.
I mean, you would think with what they say coming into the season, Kathy was made it her business to let them know that, referees is going to be getting assessed for this next season and make sure they're making the right, proper calls. Man, at this point, we need NBA refs all the time, bro. I don't want these YMCA, junior league, high school ass referees, bro. We need real life refs because as of right now, they're costing the Indiana Fever major games that they definitely need to win.
Let's be honest. Caitlin Clark doesn't just look tired. She looks drained, and not the played 40 minutes dropped 30 kind of tired. This is that deep, soul-sucking fatigue that hits when you realize you could score 60 and still get hit with a charge for blinking too hard. She's carrying a franchise, a league, and a huge chunk of the women's basketball fan base on her shoulders. And meanwhile, the refs...
You remember how last year started? You remember the lopsided officiating that we got last year? The All-Star break comes around, the Olympic break rolls around, and then what did we hear from Lynn Dunn? Lynn Dunn goes on the Dan Dockage show, and she calls out the officiating. She calls out the refereeing. She calls out the WNBA. The lopsidedness that is being shown not in favor of the Indiana Fever. The clear biases when it comes to foul calls, the clear biases when it comes to not calling foul calls. Last year, it took us halfway through.
Of course she's frustrated. Who wouldn't be? Imagine being elite at your craft, showing up night after night performing miracles, only to realize your toughest opponent isn't wearing the other team's jersey. It's the refs in stripes, somehow blind to real fouls, but quick to whistle her for simply moving, like she's breaking some unwritten no success allowed rule. The way Caitlin Clark is being treated isn't just unfair. It's absurd, like she stumbled into a universe where logic took a vacation. And Coach Stephanie White? She didn't just lose her cool. She practically gifted it to the cosmos. She looked like she was auditioning for a chaotic reboot of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Except every scene was her reacting to yet another outrageously bad call. She was pacing, shouting, and turning redder by the second. A living, breathing thermometer of pure injustice. At this point, the refs weren't even pretending to be impartial. They were out there riffing like it was open mic night at the jazz club.
Look at things a little bit holistically. I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to officiate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history, or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA, and all of them said it needs...
There's no sugarcoating it. Caitlin Clark is being treated like she's committed some crime against basketball, when all she's done is bring the game back into the spotlight. The WNBA wanted more visibility? Congrats. They've got it now. But the referees? They're squinting at the spotlight like vampires caught in sunlight, panicking under the weight of the attention they never expected. Fans are watching, replays are everywhere, and questions are flying. Every bad call turns into a meme within seconds, with Twitter breaking down every flop, every denial, every mind-boggling whistle in slow motion. And somehow, it just keeps getting worse. Caitlin pushes for a fast break. Whistle blows. She steals the ball clean. Violation called. She even breathes too hard in the paint. Technical foul. Meanwhile, the other team is practically reenacting a UFC promo and getting nothing but high fives. It's like the refs got the wrong rulebook and thought the WNBA was some kind of choose-your-own-adventure.
Off by sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls. Now, they also brought up Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. We actually made a whole video about that as well because there were some suspect calls at the end of that game, and a lot of people felt like the WNBA Finals were actually rigged.
Every time Caitlin tries to rise, there's someone ready to shove her back down, sometimes literally. Meanwhile, Coach White's sideline antics are quickly outshining the game itself. She's become the unofficial voice of reason, if reason came wrapped in red-faced yelling and clipboard-flinging intensity. You can almost hear her inner voice screaming, "Are you serious?" every couple of minutes. She protests with such fire. It's a wonder she hasn't been mic'd up and handed her own post-game therapy show. And honestly, who could blame her? Watching your star get hacked like an Amazon password without a single whistle would drive anyone to the edge. Yet, instead of celebrating her fierce defense of the team, we're stuck dissecting slow-mo clips of her getting blindsided.
Here, it took us 4 games for Stephanie White to say, "I've had enough." It's taken 4 games for Stephanie White to say, "You know what? I've had absolute enough. Game 1, okay. Game 2, okay. Game 3, all right." But today was the last straw when it came for Stephanie White. The New York Liberty get to the free throw line 32 times. The Indiana Fever this season have a discrepancy minus 31 when it comes to free throws. That doesn't seem right.